Hi, Ocean.
Osmit, sorry. How are you?
I'm good. I thought for a moment I was going to be all alone tonight, so thank you for joining me. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Good, good. Beautiful day over here. 27 degrees outside.
Nice. It was only 20 here, but it felt nice enough.
Where are you?
UK.
Oh, UK. Nice.
And where are you?
In Canada.
In Canada.
Yeah.
And it was 27.
Yeah. It's hot. Actually, 29.
Which part of Canada are you in?
It is Sarnia is border with US. It's very south. Is Ontario. Yes, the same place. I think you know Shokai. Yes, the same city.
Okay. Do you sit with his group or?
Time to time, but I meet him once a week at least. Yeah, he's my mentor.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Nice you come here as well. No, he's a nice man. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yes.
My best friend here. Oh.
Oh, and you're not originally from Canada, are you?
No, I'm from Brazil.
I did guess Brazil. I don't know why I thought. Yeah. Yeah, I've never been, but it looks like an interesting place.
It is. It is a little messy now, but it's a beautiful country. Rich culture.
Yeah, I don't think Bolsonaro's done great things for it, but
yeah,
we all have problems with our leaders, so I guess.
Yes, many places, right? Many places, many bad leaders.
Yeah, I don't know why people elect these kind of strong men. They look strong, but then when they come to deal with stuff, they just have no idea.
They're just cowards.
It sadly seems that way. They like having power over people. But this was the problem when we had the virus, when you had people like Trump and Bolsonaro in charge, that you can't fool a virus. It just doesn't.
No.
It doesn't work.
But they usually find a way to take advantage, right? They always take a way to take advantage. Make some money or corruption. It's always a way.
Yeah. And that's just horrible for the people. There's no need for that. But hey, if we could fix it, I'm sure we would.
Yeah, let's hope.
I don't know. I sat with Washin earlier. Hi, Kumo. Sat with Washin earlier, and he was just saying at the end, what did you sit with him? He just said some days they have missile strikes, some days they don't have missile strikes. It's just they take each day as it comes. And I just think that.
Yeah, hard to understand.
Yeah, I feel for him so much. Just being, you don't know if there's going to be missile strikes or not the next day. I just can't imagine living with that.
Yeah. It's my cat. I think he has opinions as well on that.
Yeah, you just have no choice. Hi, Thomas.
Hi.
Good to see you. So has everyone here sat Tonglen before? Have you done it? Have you done the Sunday Tonglen before, Thomas? And
yes, I did it last week.
Okay. And have you done it, Myoshin?
Long time ago, once.
But do you need a familiarization, or is it okay?
Maybe, if it's possible.
Okay. I'm happy it's a very simple practice. It's a practice taken from the Tibetan tradition. And Tonglen just translates as taking and sending. And I think it's a really interesting practice and a very skillful practice, and that it twists a lot of meditations do, where you breathe out all the bad stuff and you breathe in healing energy and light and stuff. And I think there's nothing wrong with that kind of meditation if you're feeling bad. But this kind of twists it on its head, and it says, okay, most of us like to keep the good stuff for ourselves and we kind of, like to get rid of all the bad stuff. So what we do, we kind of, it works both with our ego by taking on bad stuff of others, and it also opens our heart, brings compassion. And I know myself, when I'm face to face either with my own suffering or just the huge suffering, like talking about what Washeen and the Ukrainians are going through, when I think about that, or global warming and environmental devastation, when I think about that, it can just be overwhelming. And what I find helps with this practice is it gives like a structure to work with. So it gives us a method for dealing with suffering in a skillful way. And the way we do this, the way it was taught, and I think it goes back to something like the 8th or 9th century with Atisha, who originally taught this practice as a part of mind training. We imagine taking in the suffering of others, and we do that on the in-breath. But you don't have to imagine breathing it in, because people can find that can get a bit, can feel a bit claustrophobic. Instead, you imagine suffering of others going in through the chest into kind of the heart area. Then in response, we send out white light of healing, kindness, loving kindness, and just compassion to others for what they're going through. And as we do with the metaverses, we begin with ourselves. It's a good thing just to work with ourselves when we say save all sentient beings. That doesn't exclude us. We're a sentient being too. So we start off doing that. And for the first 10 minutes of the practice here, we just sit zazen, just to bring ourselves into this moment, feel how we're doing today. Then we have 5 minutes, we do taking and sending for ourselves, whatever we're going through at the minute. We can take that in to our heart space, heart area, and send ourselves compassion and love. And then for 10 minutes, we think of a specific group of sentient beings we'd like to take on the suffering and send them loving kindness. And mostly at the minute, I'm using Ukraine, but there's lots of other things. We've been through periods where most of us have been thinking about people with COVID or affected by COVID, people affected by natural disasters. It doesn't even have to be people. It can be animals, anything you like. But it's good to think of that beforehand, so you're not like scratching around in that 10 minutes to find something. And then for the last 5 minutes, we widen out the practice just to include all sentient beings. And what we're doing in this meditation is we're going from a very personal feeling of suffering where we look at ourselves and what we're going through. Then we widen out to a specific group, and then we just widen out to suffering. It no longer becomes almost a subjective thing. It's just suffering. There's no longer attached to anything. It's just the very notion of suffering. It's a very non-dual thing. It doesn't have to be us and the suffering. It's just the suffering just as it is, as we see it. So we're gradually moving out like that. So yeah, the basic thing is in breath, imagine the suffering coming into you in whatever form you'd like to imagine, and then out breath, breathing out love, kindness, compassion. It's a very, very simple practice, but I've just found I've worked with it for years, first with my Tibetan teacher, and then Jundo asked me to do it here. And it's just one of those practices I found so good, because just we don't have to do it just like here in a formal way. Just if you're watching the news and something horrible comes out, you can just do instant Tonglen just for say 3 breaths. And the same if you're out and you see a couple arguing or somebody shouting at an animal or a child, again, you can just, take on their suffering and just breathe out all good wishes. Sometimes it's appropriate to intervene. Most of the time we just, feel for their suffering. So that's how it is. So we begin with 10 minutes of Zazen, and I have the bell, and I will sound the bell each time we move to a new stage and remind you what we're going to be doing next. So that's how we go. So thank you so much for joining me, and we'll start with 10 minutes of Zazen. the next 5 minutes, we do taking and sending for ourselves. As we breathe in, we imagine our physical and emotional pain going to our heart area. When we breathe out, we let love and compassion go to the rest of our body from there. for the next 10 minutes, we do taking and sending for whatever specific group of beings we've chosen for today. For the excuse me. For the final 5 minutes, we widen our circle to include taking suffering of all sentient beings. We close this meditation practice with the verse of atonement and the 4 vows. All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable. Thank you so much for coming and sitting. I really appreciate it. It should be Washi next Sunday, but as I always say, that will be very much dependent on what's happening with him. So hopefully see you in a couple of weeks. Take care. I'll see you later.